Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crossover Podcast. My name is David Shynock. The setting has once again changed for this episode. Things are ever changing in this landscape. You want to come up? Come on up, Luna. Good girl. So, Luna is going to be joining us for today's episode. Likely sitting on my lap. I'm not 100% certain. But today is kind of a late night episode. As Emily has revealed on her Facebook, her father passed away. So they were never close, but we've been pretty much going through that the last 2 days. So this is a very last minute. Everything is finally calmed down. People just relaxing and just kind of getting back to a little bit of normalcy now as the new week begins. But to start off, on Saturday morning, I finally got the chance to go golfing for the first time in a long time, excluding October for the 4-man scramble, but like actually a full round of golf. And it was one of the most interesting conditions I've ever played in my life. I've never played a round in fog before. I've played in hail. I've played in a bunch of other different conditions. But I must say, playing in the fog was just a blast. You could not tell where the ball was going more than 70 feet in front of you or 70 yards in front of you. So apologies if you hear my parents upstairs. Anytime you hit a shot, anytime you tried to pick a marker off in the distance, you were pretty much just picking a fog patch. You were trying to line up to something that was 2 feet in front of you on the ground, which is what I do standard normally. But it was different because you couldn't, if you hit a bad feeling shot, that's fine, but you could never be upset with the result because you didn't know. For example, on the 14th hole, it was a par 5. I hit a drive really, really well and only had like 185 out. Granted, it's a short par 5, but still. So the guy that I'm playing with says to hit it to this mark because neither one of us could see the green. He was in a cart. I was walking. So he drove up, saw the green, saw where the pin was at, and said, hey, hit it towards this mark. I thought I hit it decently well towards that mark, but I had no clue. So I was like, hit it, walk up. It's 8 feet for an eagle putt, which I ended up missing, but Jesus. It was so much fun to just hit a ball and not know. And you could be somewhat upset with the result whenever you saw it later, but it you didn't beat yourself up as much. It was a lot more relaxing than most other rounds I've played. I shot 74, which score-wise is the lowest 18-hole score I've ever had in my life. Over par, it was 3 over par. So I've matched that amount before. So that still does tie my lowest amount ever. But I don't know. It was just fun to get back out again. And likely the last time that I will be playing, simply due to the fact that we're supposed to get, I think, 8 to 12 inches of snow here on Wednesday. So that pretty much puts golf done and out for the count for the next, pretty much for a while. Because assuming we go back in middle of January, like we're planning, then yeah, unless I pay to play in a simulator league, which I don't plan on doing. And I think simulator leagues aren't available right now due to COVID. So yeah, this is likely, probably the last time I'm playing golf until March or April, until it warms up and maybe I can get out in New York, but I don't know, even that's kind of up in the air and iffy. But yeah, I didn't really get to play much video games at all this weekend like I was intending to because of obviously everything that went on. But I was able to follow some of the news over the weekend, and for the first time in a long time, it felt like it was a fairly slow esports weekend. Like there wasn't as much going on as there normally is, which is kind of nice because during the holiday season, I always want there to be at least a little bit of a separation between when the new season starts and when the old season ended. But I don't want it to be so long. I guess it's appropriate, but the off season between Worlds and the middle of January, whenever LCS returns, just feels astronomically long. Which, give me one sec just to make sure something's working. Okay, we're gonna go. Sorry, I was getting paranoid about the camera not recording properly. All kinds of sounds around this house right now for some reason. But yeah, it's kind of slow. So there's a Valorant event this weekend that I didn't pay any attention to, which I think Sentinels beat 100 Thieves. I'm not sure if that was in the finals or what that was, like categorically wise. Well, that was the end of the event. How important the event was, I'm not sure. It's been, I don't know, just kind of slow, and it's been kind of nice. But the one thing I did want to talk about today was what feels like a question that a lot of people ask, including myself, yet oddly, I feel like I'm in a position to somewhat answer the same question as well, is that how do you get involved with esports in some capacity? How do you start to make that transition if you want to do it career-wise, if you're like me and you want to do it on a volunteer basis? How do you do it? And I've been struggling with that over the last, 12 to 13 hours as the thought popped into my head, and I didn't really have a good answer for it. So I'll start off by using my situation as this. I feel like I went the opposite route that most people take when they're trying to get involved with esports and gaming, where that normally people look at it from the very beginning. You don't have any experience, you don't have this, you don't have that. And the simple answer is go to school, get a degree, find, collegiate programs, etc. to get involved in, look at internships, etc., etc. That's a little bit different, and I feel like it's easier to advise people on. Oh, I think somebody might be coming downstairs. Nope. So that's a little bit easier to advise people on than being in the industry, or not in the industry, being a full-time employee in an industry where you have experience in. So using myself, for example, I'm applying for my CPA license now that all the exams are done. I will have almost 3 years of work experience coming up here soon in, I think November. Yeah, November would technically mark 3 years, but I have been unemployed. And of course, the vacuum is going off in the background. So I started working November 2018. So wow, no, it'd only be 2 full years of experience. Wow. Wait, is that really right? So I started at Mazars November 2018, I think, then worked there till I left for CBS that was August 2019, because I went to the LCS finals at that time. Then got laid off from CBS due to COVID in March, I think. And then got 3 months of unemployment, was able to get with Peloton by the end I got laid off in May, I think. And then was able to get on with Peloton. So yeah, wow, that really would be only 2 full years of work experience as of this past November. It feels like so much more, but I guess it's really not. Wow, that's surprising. So realistically, interesting note, before I get back to the whole esports point, had I stayed in, it's interesting to think about the career prospects of this. So had I stayed in public accounting, realistically, I should be an audit senior at this point. So you spend your first full year as an audit staff 1, second year as audit staff 2, and then you move to senior, which sometimes people will spend a third year at audit staff, but generally speaking, you should move up after that second year, assuming you've had experience delegating responsibilities, etc., whatever. It's interesting to note that had I stayed in that trajectory, that's where I would have been at. But instead, now I'm a staff at, which by the way, my mom's walking by in the background, so apologies for any noise, etc. Now that I'm there, it feels more lateral than anything else. What's up? What's up? No, that was, you just looked over. Wasn't sure.
No, my decoration fell in the back. That's all.
Yeah.
Behind your head.
I can fix that then. I just moved the chair over here because it's a little bit more of a scenic
When you want to make
video.
decorations look nice.
Well, yeah, but I don't think 10 people on the internet are really going to care all that much about one portion of the decoration falling down whenever that part looks really nice.
What?
Whenever that part looks really nice.
Oh, you have that.
Yeah, the video I think is angled so that most of it's shown over there, but I'm on. So I don't think I've ever introduced. Most people that watch this know Luna and Coco. But Marley, come here. Marley. Come here. He's not gonna go. My mom has a very young Cavapoo puppy who is a lot of energy, tries to hump Luna and Coco, or tries to hump Coco every now and then. But overall, he's a bundle of joy. So for those that want to see. Oh, no, Mark. Come here. Never mind. He's just a little black dog. How's it look now?
No, I can't get it.
Stuck.
I'll get it later.
All right. You guys going to bed?
Yeah.
All right. Have a good night.
You too. Good night.
I'm probably going to edit most of that out, so this may cut back in right about now. I don't know. We will see what all happens. I think Emily's running the vacuum, but God only knows. It seems like every time I go to record this, people are making noise, and there's no ability to focus on this whatsoever. Anyways, as I was saying about Mazars, had I stayed there, I would have been senior. Now I'm staff accountant at Peloton. When you look at how that compares in terms of trying to enter the esports industry, from my perspective as a volunteer position, that limits my time substantially. So I've mentioned it once or twice here, but month close is a very strenuous process for pretty much anyone in accounting, where you close your books for month end. You tend to be very busy with work, especially if it's a year end or quarter end, but just month end in general is a very busy time. So it's not like I can delegate, 2 or 3 days a week to something like that outside of my job. One, because that's too much time to put into it. Two, I have my wife and dogs and everything else to worry about, so I can't necessarily just go straight into something else like that. But I don't know. It's interesting to think about, like, how do I potentially leverage a volunteer position? I don't know, because it's like, okay, so with the New York City League of Legends group that I'm in, I could technically put in some time there, and I'm looking at possibly doing that and helping Judy with possibly some community events or any other things that might go on there. But even then, that one to 1.5 weeks where I'm completely unavailable become a little bit more iffy in terms of being able to consistently help as a volunteer off of normal peak hour, or like a normal work day. On top of that, trying to volunteer anywhere else gets tough, because realistically, if I'm going to volunteer my time, I want it to be a part of either an organization I care about, which 9 times out of 10, given where I'm at in terms of career, you have to look at most of the things that I would be able to do or actually help out with in that regard. It's not like social media manager or something like that, would be just a full-time position. It's not really a volunteer type thing. From there, there's really not much opportunity in New York City, which I've talked a little bit about previously. But for some reason, whether it's just the tax structure for corporations not having anything there, smaller organizations that participate in other major games just not having a footprint in New York, it just doesn't seem like as much is available out there. Now, you look at like OSNYC or Waypoint Cafe, the two PC cafes in the city, and I guarantee they get so many volunteers that it's like you're better off taking a high school kid who's willing to volunteer in that regard than, some 26-year-old guy with tons of work experience. You'd rather give something to the high school kids so that, it gives them something to do, but also helps them build into a career because I already have an established career. So it's like, I feel like NYC LOL might be one of the few areas that I can actually help grow this, or really anything in general, or just volunteer time to where, and the vacuum goes again. By the way, this is being recorded at 10:45 at night, just to put that in perspective of how much noise is truly going on this late at night. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like when I try to think of a way to volunteer time, etc., maybe I'm not looking in the right places. And if anybody has good ideas or knows somebody that needs any help, feel free to reach out and let me know, because I'm more than open to hearing what avenues I'm not exploring, etc., that maybe I can be of assistance with. But I don't know. It's a tough topic to kind of sell. Hi. On top of that, I do want to quickly address Call of Duty, because my skill-based matchmaking video still gets consistent views on TikTok to this day. Oh, hello, Coco. And it seems like most people, and I didn't do a good enough job in the video of explaining exactly what I want to happen with skill-based matchmaking in terms of loosening some of the parameters, but not fully getting rid of skill-based matchmaking. I'm saying a lot this podcast as well. I'm sorry, this is probably a super hypercritical or self-critical podcast, but nevertheless, I tried playing Call of Duty earlier today, and I just couldn't get into it in the same way that I used to. Now, granted, I was trying to play solo, and I don't feel like Call of Duty is a game that I can play solo anymore. I feel like if you're going to play solo, Warzone is the better option to do, because it just, those one-off wins feel much better there than grinding for a weapon or leveling something there. Like, I don't know. Call of Duty pubs have just kind of lost that prestige element for me, which I've known for a while, but it's like, you don't get that reward for the grind anymore. Like, all I could do when I was playing Call of Duty earlier was think either A, I really want to play GTA and play through some of the single player story there because I want to beat that before I go back home, or B, I kind of miss grinding League of Legends, and even though I was not typically getting better, I don't know, just feel like you're grinding towards something. Like, one day maybe you will improve, and one day maybe it will click, and I can start working on CSing and working on some mechanics and other things like that. Like, I don't know, it's just fun, and like, you can go and play. I guess ultimately, me talking about this right now just boils down to, I don't think outside of having a group that Call of Duty is as much fun from a public lobby perspective anymore. I think Warzone now takes that cake and eats it too. But even in the battle, I don't know. I'm kind of burnt out on the battle royale genre for the most part. It just feels like it's been going on for since 2014, 2015-ish. Was whenever Minecraft got popular, so people have been messing with the genre since that point in time. So it's like, I don't know, it just feels like I'm waiting for something new. And I want to try Cyberpunk, but I can't at the moment because I have a original PS4, which would handle it horribly. So you either need to play it on PS5 or Xbox One or PC, and I'm going to have to wait for that. In terms of other games coming out, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I'm not 100% certain. But I don't know, it just feels like I intentionally took a month off of League of Legends And I'm happy that I did, because I think it's making me appreciate how much I truly do enjoy the game, despite people making fun of anybody else for liking League of Legends as a whole. But I don't know. I feel like one thing I need to do is I need to find people that are in the NYC LOL group and start playing more League of Legends with them, because I feel like I play solo a lot, or I'll play with Paul, which, Paul, if you're watching this, you are phenomenal to play with. I don't know. I miss the days in high school of being able to log on and play Call of Duty with a friend at night, and then wake up the next day and go see them, or at least see them on a consistent basis, and be able to talk about things in addition to all that. Because I don't play with anybody from the NYC LOL group, at least at the moment, it just feels like that element is missing there, where it's like you don't share the memories that you can then go grab a beer over or grab a drink over. That I know COVID's making that worse than it technically is, because you're missing that human-to-human interaction. But I feel like as gamers, we definitely do need the in-person element too. And we tend to be overlooking that, or just forgetting that exists, because, oh, we're gamers, we want to stay inside and play video games. But in the reality is, a lot of us still want to have that same social interaction, same friend group, and just want to go out and enjoy life, but we're too scared to admit it. And so we, even though we play games and that's what we want to do with other people too, we're very scared of the social element of that. And hopefully that changes. But I don't know. We'll see. Nevertheless, that's pretty much it for this one. I'm not sure how long this is because the camera's facing the other way. I apologize. It was a little bit more rambly than normal. A little bit later, a lot more distractions going on right now than most. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any feedback, let me know. Please be sure to subscribe, drop a like, leave any comments that you have in terms of feedback or any topics you want me to cover, etc. I'm more than happy to do so. So thank you everybody for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Goodbye.